We are in Ayodhya, the Ram Janmabhoomi. Under a year, we have seen the difference, which is so phenomenal, And to know everything, we will soon be joined by Shri Nipendra Mishra once again. And he will take us around and tell us exactly where we stand, what to expect in future. Thank you so much for agreeing to speak to us again. I came to you first in April 2022. We were standing on a raft here. Nothing was there except the raft. Then we came again in October the same year, 6 months from then. Some outlines of the temple were ready then. And in under a year, we have seen the difference, which is so phenomenal,
Let me just give you, since you have compared the period, I would like to tell you where we are today. And this is the actual east gate. This is where the entrance is going to be for everybody. The devotees would be coming from this side and they will come under the tunnel, and there is a percotta, which is a boundary wall, which you can see the construction. And from there he will climb up the stairs to reach this level, and then he will climb up here. We have the 3 platforms on this side and 3 platforms that side, and that is the welcome entrance. And it will have the statue of first the Singha Dwar, which is lion, then there will be a Gaj Dwar, so the second platform, and finally Gaj Dwar is elephant, and then there will be Lord Hanuman. So, and there will be Garud on the other side. So that is the welcome for everybody for the temple. It is supposed to be also in keeping with the high traditions of the temples of Ayodhya, which is built on the pattern. And from here you are moving, and you will, as you enter, there are 5 mandapas. So that also the ground floor of the mandapa is complete. And that is what, when we say that by December 31, 2023, we will complete the ground floor, meaning that the devotee will come, enter from the mandapas, go right up to the sanctum sanctorum, have the darshan, and then exit from this side. So this is the construction that is a challenge to us. In next 3 months, by December 31st, we have to complete this construction. So I just thought that many people want to ask a question, when would the temple be complete? So it is better to clarify that ground floor will be complete in December 2023, and the entire temple will be completed in December 2024. So that is the phase 2.
What are the milestones that have been achieved and the ones which proved to be a huge challenge?
Actually, there are various stages in which we trying to complete. You said that your last visit was October
2022.
2022. That was the time when we were still working on the raft and plinth area. So that area, so the one milestone, and very rightly you said, the foundation, which is about 12 meters in depth, and then you have raft, which is 2 meters in height, and then the plinth of granite, which is again about 2.5 meters in height. That is the milestone 1, which basically means the foundation is getting completed. Once the foundation is complete, then starts the second challenge, and that is how you put the stone now, because the stone is the actual weight on this foundation, and that has to be done after great deal of not just care, but after great deal of scientific examination on what is the load factor which can come on this. And that load factor was all estimated through simulation exercises by IIT Chennai and also by Central Building Research Institute, Roorkee. And what they did, they worked for a simulation of earthquake also. So all kinds of calamities which can challenge the stability of the structure. And once that was done there in the lab, they came to the conclusion that what are the parameters necessary for the stone to be put up, what strength should be provided at the arms of the stone in order to withstand the pressure and also to make it more resilient, that if there is any kind of tremor, shake, then they are able to withstand it. So that was the second milestone, and we started. When we completed that stonework, when I am describing it is looking simple, but the putting the stones, cladding of the stone, making the roof of the stone, all of it, that required lot of skill, and that was supervised by Central Building Research Institute very minutely. Even what space is allowed between two stones is fixed, 0.5 mm is the maximum that can be fixed. Beyond that is not allowed. So that is what was done here, and we passed that test. To answer your question, the second milestone was that, and once that got completed, then we had the third work was the pillars, iconography on pillars. Now here in the scheme of things, for the total temple, roughly about 350 pillars are there. Of that, 170 pillars are on the ground floor. These pillars, each pillar has got 25 to 30 figures, and these figures are also, in some manner predetermined. It is as per the Nagar Shaili temples and Awadh temple. For example, in the pillar, if you show Devangana, so what are the different moods of Devangana, that will have to be shown on the pillar. So iconography of, you can imagine, 170 pillars, each pillar with 25 to 30 figures, that has to be done. So that milestone we are at the moment engaged. So on one hand, we are doing that. There is another thing that we have got to do, and we have to complete it. What you see, the brickwork here, that's lower plinth. This is the lower plinth. In this lower plinth, all through the temple area, around the temple, the total distance is roughly about 750 running feet. Now on this 750 running feet, we are going to narrate Ram Katha, the story of Ram.
Ram Ratan Dhan, Ram Ratan Dhan.
And that narration, about 100 murals depicting the life of Ram, starting from the time when Raja Dashrath was being blessed that he will have sons, and this will be the kind of description. From there, the time when the Ram was requested that we would like to take him to fight the demons, or later when he had to go for 14 years of Banbas, and then finally taking round all the events, finally coming here and celebrate the return to Ayodhya and his becoming king. All that will be shown.
Ram Ratan Dhan Payo, Payo Ji Maine.
Why did we think of it? That's important. Often a challenge is posed to us, and in fact we have this young man who, people of his age often ask the question, who was Rama? How do you say that he was born here in this building? What is this Ayodhya? Who was Dashrath? So in order to make them believe that we have a genuine civilization, we have a very genuine history of 5,000 years back when Ram was born, we decided that the one way is to show the salient features of Ram, and that is why this Ram Katha was thought of. So the lower plinth will have the Ram Katha. This is another milestone. We have started working. This milestone may not be achieved by December 31,
I was going to ask.
but it will get completed before December 2024. To be exact, June 2024, we will have the entire mural. The work is going on. The work involves first the artwork, which is being done by a very famous artist, Vasudev Kamath. What was he given? He was given a shlok from Valmiki Ramayana. That's all. Now on that shlok, he has to imagine how the event is to be depicted. So he then makes the art. That art is then given to the sculptor. He first does the clay work of that art. Then he makes, once the clay work is approved by Vasudev Kamath, then the fiber work is done, and finally the carving on the stone, which is the final stone, Bansi Paharpur stone, on which the Ram Katha will come.
Tell me, what are the challenges which really tested everything, system and everything which you have faced so far?
Frankly, you know, we have very eminent company which is doing the implementation. It is Larsen and Toubro. We also have a very eminent monitoring team which is headed by Tata Consultant of Engineers. Then we have IITs, 5 IITs with whom I have signed the contract. And then we have Central Building Research Institute. The most challenging part which engages my every day it is on an average there are 10 mails which I have to resolve, and that is on the difference of opinion.
What kind of differences?
Starting with the foundation, when the first difference was, should it be based on pile foundation or it should be based on excavating the soil, refilling the engineered soil,
To make a raft.
and then that engineered soil then becomes like a stone in 28 days. So there were two views. After all the high-rise constructions all over the world that's being made on pile foundation. So everyone wondered, what's so special? Why can't we make it on pile foundation? But after a great deal of debate within the trust and with these experts, we opted for the foundation where 12 to 15 meter was dug out, and once it was dug out, then it was filled. So you can imagine the opinion. How that opinion got resolved is interesting. Since there were two views, so we formed a committee of the ex-directors of IIT. And ex-IIT director Delhi, Dr. Rao, who is in Hyderabad, he was requested to head that committee. It comprised of all the 5 representatives from the IITs, Larsen Toubro, Tata Consultant Engineers, and 1 or 2 more experts. Finally, this committee recommended that if you go for refill, it will take time, no doubt, but maybe it is safer option. We opted for that.
All right.
So this is the kind of difference. I mean, from that stage, you can come to a difference opinion. What should be the load of power? What should be the order on DG sets as emergency standby if the load of power is X or Y? Because it has got cost implications. There is huge difference of opinion about certain constructions which are recommended in, let's say, Vastu, but which became a challenge to the safety of devotee. We cannot create here just because the Vastu wanted those umras all over. We could not create that because it would have led to stampede. If anyone fell on that height, it would have been very serious.
Correct.
So here again, there was a difference of opinion, and the difference of opinion went to the extent where my architect said, I will not agree with you unless you give it in writing. So I had to give it in writing that you will not put umbra there. And then finally the umbra was removed in the design and the construction went on. From A to Z,
Everything will be.
if there is difference of opinion, then also it has to come. And even if they agree, then also the verification has to come. They all agreed that we must buy DG sets for 4000 kVA. But actually, okay, I accommodated, but I know for certain it is not going to be required. I have respected the views because it was unanimous, but I know that it will not be more than one DG set of 750 kVA and one of 500. It will never be required. But then, okay, if you are told suddenly that look, if there is a power failure in a temple like this, you know the consequences. No, I could not take that
I get
burden
it.
on my shoulders.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
true.
So sometimes you are told, if you don't do this, these are the consequences.
Yeah. So मुझे एक चीज़ पूछनी थी. When we had spoken the first time, you had also talked about other temples like Valmiki temple, Shabri Mata temple. वो आ रहे हैं, वो सब शुरू हो गए हैं काम उन पे?
No, no, no. There is a decision that we must have the temple which would depict the so-called faith of Lord in social harmony. And that is, if we construct the temple starting from Maharshi Valmiki, we have the temple of Nishad Raj, we have the temple of Sabri Mata. So like that. So there are 7 temples which we have to construct, and that will be outside the Perkota.
Okay. Okay.
So we have identified the place. We are waiting for the completion of Perkota. So the construction work on those temples would start sometime in March of 2024.
Okay. Okay. And they will follow the same stringent standard, quality standards and everything?
Of course, it will not have the size of this.
Of course, yeah.
But they will be in one campus, and they will be placed in a manner that people with different faith, different level of devotion to those deities, they will have the opportunity to worship.
Very interesting question which I have been, keeping in mind for a while. One of the reasons why it was believed the temple is here is because after ASI's, when they did all their tests and all, and you found a lot of evidence of what was. Are some of those artworks inspiring some of these things here also, or no?
Frankly, those artworks in some manner is not getting adopted in the format of this temple, because what they were proving was that there existed a temple here. They are proving that it is ancient, and there is a history behind that. There is definite basis for the age calculation. So, and all that is going to be displayed in the museum which is going to be built. Now that museum, fortunately, we requested the UP government to transfer their international museum on Ram Katha, which is on the highway. It's a very good 3-story building. So rather than constructing here in the premises, because it would have also restricted the movement of a person who may not be wanting to visit the temple, but wanting to see the museum. So he should not seek this kind of security which is offered here. So we requested the UP government. They have agreed to transfer that completely to the trust, and we will build the museum there. And all these things, there will be a script which would now link all that we have found, all that which was produced before the court, and the court took notice of that. Everything now, when we present the legal history of 500 years of this, how it was fought for this right and for this day when the temple will be constructed, that is going to be placed in the museum.
How do you find these artisans from who will do all these things?
Well,
I saw them
frankly,
here. Some of them
Yeah.
are from Bharatpur, they said.
Yeah.
Hmm.
There is a very good number of these people who are carving the sculptures here, and they are from Orissa.
I see.
And for the bronze murals which will be put in Parkota all over, those murals, a different set of artists who work on bronze, they have been picked up. And there the story will be, it's interesting because this is Lower Plinth is Ram Katha. In Parkota, the murals, which will be about 100 in number, in the total, the circumference of 795 meters, those murals depict the high ethical standards of Ram, which not only he lived with or lived for, and he displayed that, that's why he is called Maryada Purushottam, but how that has got transferred, influenced, getting reflected in the philosophy of Sanatan Dharma. So, those stories will also be picked up in those murals. So, that will be shown. That also, all the stories have been selected. We have a treasurer who is very, very eminent Kathavachak, Swami Govind Dev Giriji of Pune, and he contributed along with Yatindra Mishra, who is here in Ayodhya. They contributed to the selection of those pictures. Those pictures now again will have to be converted into clay and fiber and finally in bronze. So, that is the story. We are standing at the moment in the Rang Mandap and Nritya Mandap. The two mandaps are called Nritya and Rang Mandap. Here also there is an opinion that the nomenclature should be changed. We are looking into that. There are experts who have given documents to show that these mandapas should be renamed with Ayodhya's tradition in mind. So, we are open. If it requires change of the name, it will be. It does not change the construction.
And when will that decision be taken about
Oh,
the
in
change?
about week's time.
Okay.
And then we will start calling accordingly. Because you have Garv Grah, which is Sanctum Sanctorum, and from Garv Grah you have Guru Mandap or Gud Mandap, and that is our second Mandap, and then the third, fourth and fifth are Nrit, Rang and Prarthana Mandap. Will enter from here, the eastern entrance where we stood originally,
And then
they will
walk.
move and go right to Sanctum Sanctorum. As I made a reference, these are Devangana here. Now, each Devangana has to look different. And yesterday we heard one of the professor, he is a Tagore fellow. He came inspected because we wanted him to do independent audit. He came and inspected, and he has some comments to make what we must take extra care to see it is genuine. Because 90% people will just go have a darshan and go
Yeah,
out.
experts will.
But 2 to 3% will be looking about everything, whether it has been done according to Shastras or not. And we really have to live and answer that. So actually now, in fact, what you see is that we are just standing in front of Sanctum Sanctorum, which is the last point. The place where the puja was done by Honorable Prime Minister on August the 5th, 2020. And then obviously all this work started after that. Today, what is left there is basically the pedestal of Bhagwan, then that will be in the center. The selection of the murti for which the work is going on here, there are three sculptors who are making Lord Ram. They have been given all the descriptions. What will be the height, it will be standing. What will be the age, what is the kind of things that he will be showing in the hand, just as if it's a play toy, like, you know, the arrow or dhanush, whatever. And then once these three who are doing work here in Ayodhya only at some place, one will be selected by the group of trustees, that will be installed here. The prayer and the installation ceremony would start from 14th of January 2024, and then on the date we have invited Honorable Prime Minister. We yet to hear from him.
14th January.
14th is the start of the prayer. After that, until going up to 24th, any day that he decides, we will do the final Pran Pratishtha, when the Lord will show up here. And from the next day, the devotees will start coming and have darshan. And just in front of Lord, the present Bhagwan, who is there in the temporary temple, they will be brought with all the honor and placed there.
Ram Lalla.
Yeah, Ram Lalla. So you will have a standing Ram Lalla, you will have Ram Lalla which was there, which suddenly people believe appeared, and that in fact, as you all know, in Supreme Court, that Ram Lalla has been recognized as petitioner in the judgment.
Correct.
The judgment is based on that. And Mr. Parasaran, our advocate, who is also member trustee, he argued for about 50 hours in favor of what his theory was, that why Ram Lalla should be accepted as a petitioner, why nobody else should be accepted. Court acknowledged his argument. So that is a long history, and you will finally find this long legal history presented in the museum which I just talked about.
After the final Pran Pratishtha happens in January 2024, so devotees will still be coming from here?
Oh yes, yes.
So what about the work that is going on?
We are going to barricade. Firstly, of course, by December, our expectation is that there will be roof like this. There will be dome which will be completed.
That will be completed.
Yeah.
Okay.
There is only one, the Shikhar point, where the opening is, because the Shikhar goes on the second floor.
Yeah.
So that is where we will draw steel structure to provide safety to the devotees. So the devotees, a line will be drawn, 2 rows from this side, 2 rows on this side, reach 25 feet distance from the god, have a darshan, and then move down.
You also have a time of how much they will be allowed to stand there?
It is not a question of our making any such calculation. It is more the faith of devotees. Our expectation is from next day onwards, about 1,25,000 people will come. If 1,25,000 people come and we have the darshan open for 12 hours, he gets about 25 seconds. On a Ram Navami day, he gets about 17 seconds because then the number could be 3 lakh to 5 lakhs. So that is very, very important. And Ram Navami day also becomes important because that is the day when we are ensuring that 12 o'clock the sun rays come and enter through the shikhar, and then it gets diverted and it falls on the forehead of Lord. So that calculation has all been done by CBRI and their astrophysics department lab in Pune. So that work is now complete. Accordingly, the computerized gadget is being manufactured, which will be placed there. So you can imagine, so many people will wait for that 12 o'clock to have darshan here, but there is a limitation. So we are going to have screens all over that will be there, which will perhaps show the same thing happening, but you know, people do still want to stay here at 12 o'clock.
That brings me to the other point about the number of visitors. Last time we discussed, we talked about the smart city project, and we also talked about the crowd management, whether the city is ready. Where are we? You know, I know it's the administration outside your this thing, but you would be aware because everything is interlinked.
Commissioner was very kind. He made a presentation, Commissioner of Ayodhya. He made a presentation on the crowd management scheme. He was meticulous. He had given the description, what is the capacity of the hotel, what are the capacity of dharmashala, what are the capacities of ran baseras, how many trains will come. Then the airline people, civil aviation department people came today. They have confirmed that the flight will start from December. So at least 3 flights will be coming directly to Ayodhya. So that is being organized. The trains, dedicated trains will now come from places like Rameshwaram, Tirupati and other places. So all of it will have impact on the crowd. So Commissioner has taken note. So he has gone to the detail what kind of toilets are required, what kind of amenities are required, what kind of food is required, what are the language challenges because people will be coming from different states. He is trying best. The state government is totally committed.
Is the city ready for it? What is your feeling? Will it be ready by January 2024?
Well, I checked. Let me give one raw figure. The roads which have been dug out, the total road under widening and construction is 13 kilometers. So you see in the city everything.
Yeah, we can see that.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, according to his estimates, and I agree with that, about 6.5 kilometers will be ready by December. So the main roads leading to the temple, main railway overbridges connecting the road leading to the temple, that will be complete. But then there is a huge work. There is the issue of civic amenities,
Correct.
water, sewage, drainage. They are all working and they are very conscious of the results to be shown by December.
And what about the smart city project?
Yeah, the smart city project is a very favorite scheme of our UP Chief Secretary, Mr. Mishra, who at one stage was Urban Development Secretary in Government of India. So he was piloting a smart city concept. So he is very well aware. About 1,200 acres of land has been acquired on the other side of the highway, and there they have got a scheme, they have got a plan, they have got a master plan, but that's I personally think is about minimum 2 to 3 years
Away.
away. Yeah.
That is where some of these international guest houses also are
Oh
likely
yes,
to come
oh
up.
yes. The states will be given the offer that they could make here build guest houses. Some of the other countries who want to have,
Mauritius, you had
yeah,
mentioned,
like
right?
that, Nepal, Mauritius, they may be interested, Sri Lanka, they may be interested in having some kind of a
Guest house for
yeah,
their
guest
visitors.
house for their visitors. So it is very much on the cards, and they will have that facility of land allocation.
Tell us some more of your personal experiences in coming up with the project of this magnitude, this importance. And of course, the entire world is looking at what the final outcome would be. That we can see it is changing, but some of the personal anecdotes which you think are worth sharing.
Well, there are all very, very serious things and experiences. When the mines in Rajasthan, they were closed. You could not do mining work there. And we had planned Bansi Paharpuri stone. It's a special place in Rajasthan. That required lot of work, and I have to acknowledge that the government of Rajasthan also was positive. So at some stage, when we could get the mining work opened, we heaved a sigh of relief. And then obviously we approached the people who had the right on mines, who owned mines, because we could not wait for licenses to be issued. So we first rushed to them, and before others could approach, we tried to do that. So this is the kind of thing which goes on, but at the end of the day, the issues get resolved, and that is, I would like to say that that is something very divine. There was a time when the supply of aggregates are the material which are used in the foundation. We were to get it from Madhya Pradesh, and there was a huge problem of that. But everybody, everyone, the district magistrate, if he was requested, he said, we shall come. If a request was made to transporters, they said, we will give support. If a request was made to railway board to give us containers which will have a green,
Yeah, Concor made available those granites.
So granites was made available, and there was no stoppage. They all came directly to Kanpur, offloaded. In Kanpur we got help of the police, and even during daytime when the heavy vehicles are not allowed, we could get the material out. So, you know, the anecdotes are more in the nature of how the divine intervention has helped in the construction of the temple. What will be the final outcome? Only Lord knows.
All over the world contributed, you know, monetarily and every which way. Anything which is extraordinary or something which you would like to share, if there is anything like that?
As of now, people who have contributed from India only, because we do not have FCRA account.
Okay, okay.
And they, outsiders who are
Keen.
believers in Sanatan Dharma, they are very unhappy that they are not getting chance to contribute. And they are just waiting when our account will be, FCRA account will be given, and they will be asked that they can send it in the accounts now. We have, it is a rare thing that we could contact more than 4 lakh rural area villages, panchayats, and we got contribution from rupees 10 in the coupon of 10 and 100 like that, and the trust could collect about 3,500 crores of money for this. That shows the level of faith that people have. And they also, it shows that the people believe that what they are contributing will be put to right use in the construction of the temple.
Nice. So, what are the next steps now? I think you have very clearly enunciated. Anything which we haven't asked, which you think needs to be told, the world should know?
No, you have covered extensively. So, there are 2-3 things that we need to know. The most, I suppose, inspiring thing is that in this whole process of decision making, construction and progress, there is somewhere a invisible inspiration of Honorable Prime Minister. He doesn't monitor, but I am very sure he knows each and every step of what is happening here. So that is something which is for us also a matter of satisfaction, that one day he will come here and do the Pran Pratishtha. And people in millions believe that in some manner he has been instrumental in this construction of the temple.
So it's been an absolute pleasure to have you show us around and
thank
explain
you.
so much, because the world needs to know, and I think there is nobody better than you to tell them what exactly
And
is
there
happening.
is no better channel. You will reach the world, so I am confident that I am talking to you is
you so
what
much.
I am conveying to so many millions.
Thank you so much, and that is our intention as well. Thank you so much.
Padasani